Interim. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And welcome to the Tuesday, July 6, 2021 Board of Aldermen meeting. We will begin first with minutes of the previous meeting, June 21st, 2021, and I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, it's been seconded. Are there any alterations, deletions, corrections to the minutes? Hearing and seeing none, would all those in favor please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. We are on to Outside the Rail. First up, Lyle Jepson, Parade of Heroes fireworks request. Mr. Jepson.
Thank you very much. I want to make sure, one of the things I learned a long time ago is don't surprise the boss. And so I'm back to make sure that you knew when we put in our request for the Parade of Heroes, August 28th, that we have kind of a fireworks extravaganza that we want to do in addition to that. And I want to thank the department heads because all the way from Kim and Rutland Rec to the chief, to the police chief, to Public Works, all the department heads have been very helpful in guiding me through my first rodeo of doing a fireworks and a parade. So wanted to make sure that was okay with you folks that we do that. And we have a plan with North Star that did the fireworks the other night to shoot off from Monsignor Thomas Park. And that would probably be the best location, the closest we could find to the city where after the parade and after a concert, people will actually be able to see the fireworks. So throw that out there for questions or comments. The chief kind of has things planned for us so we can maintain safety and really appreciate that. So, and I put you to sleep. Thank you very much.
Alderman Gillum.
Thank you.
This is not new. We used to do that for first night. They used to fire them off over there. So this is not new
Great.
for us. For some of us, anyway.
Any other?
Sounds good.
Go for it.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you
Love
very
a
much.
party. Love a party.
All right. Thank you.
Very good, thank you, that sounds great. All right, up next we have Rutland City Parks Foundation. If you would, sir, your name and address for the record.
Dave Wallstrom, 18 Highland Avenue. So thanks for allowing us to speak tonight. I'm here with John Padone, and we're here representing, as he said, the Rutland City Parks Foundation. And we came to you tonight to give you a long overdue update on what we've been doing for the last several years, as well as present an opportunity that we feel requires discussion at the city board level before we can proceed. So just for review, because most of you have changed faces since we were formed 2.5 years ago. The foundation was formed 3 years ago to assist the Rec and Parks Department with project funding, advocacy, and grant writing, primarily for capital improvement. And so we're a 501c3, and we're able to apply for grants that other like municipal groups can't apply for, or it's harder for them to get funding for. So over the last 3 years, we've raised over $14,000 for different city projects, and that includes a Gaga pit, which I had no idea what it was, so I took a picture of it. But it's a playground feature that was installed down at White's Pool, which is pretty cool. We also have disc golf programming and baskets, and a portable 9-hole disc golf course that has been going up around the city at all the parks. New signage for Rotary Park, which since I lived here had never had signage, and that was a partnership with both Rotary clubs, and they donated the funds for that, which was really appreciated. And then we also worked with the City Forestry Division to try and help replace some of the shade trees lost to the emerald ash borer. So we've been fairly busy, and that our latest project was identified by the Parks Division as something that kind of needed some work, and that was kind of rehabilitation of the city Main Street Park gazebo. And so we started looking into it, and John wrote a short grant and got us about $1,000 to do an engineering and architectural assessment. And unfortunately, we found out that the building is 110 years old and has reached most of its able life cycle, and it is in fact now shut down to the public. So, unless that's changed. No. Okay. So basically they found that the underside had taken on some moisture and the superstructure was rotted. So initially what had been planned as kind of a rehabilitation, you know, remove some of the telephone pole columns and replace them with real columns, fix the roof, is now replacement, extensive rebuild, or reconstruct something else. And it's been lovingly taken care of for all of those 110 years, but concrete has a lifespan. So we feel this represents an opportunity. You know, it's a heavily used space. We're really excited about this project. Everything happens up there from, you know, art in the park to Christmas tree sales to concerts to protests to, you know, community gatherings. So we really would like to see something there, and we would like to engage the board and the city in developing a plan, and then we will continue to raise funds to make that happen. We are hoping to have this referred to the appropriate committee, whether it's economic development, recreation, or general, whatever your pleasure is, and we will help with coordinating that discussion and getting you the engineering reports and the suggestions of different gazebo users, such as the city band, and some of the problems that, say, the police department or fire department have had maintaining that space, and some of the ideas that the Parks Department has for improving the space, putting better lighting, better speakers, lighting the flagpole, all those things that could happen with a bigger commitment. So it kind of went from a project where we were going to write a small grant with the Vermont Preservation Trust to something a little bigger, but we're still really excited to look forward to it. We just now need a little of your help. And we'd be happy to answer any questions. We're gonna, you know, depending on what committee it gets to, we'll get you all the engineering stuff that you need to kind of start the discussion when it gets there.
Very good. Alderwoman Davis?
I was just going to move to refer to Recreation Committee.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to refer to rec, and it has been seconded. All those in favor of referring this to the Recreation Committee, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Dunges.
Just a quick question. How quickly would you like to see that gazebo situation resolved?
So
replaced?
looking at some of the grants available for this type, they're due at the end of the year, so October.
Okay.
We passed by a couple because plans changed. So it would be nice to get started. We'll need probably a month or two heads up because we want to send out a pretty extensive mailing list it's a pretty broad group of folks that use it. And we want Bob and Tyler to have time to kind of put together some different options so you guys can be informed on your decision. And we also want to make sure that we reach out to the public. And I think that any member of the public out there or community group that's using it to reach out to one of the board, one of us, or someone at the rec department and say, this is what I like about it, this is what we hope for more. You know, one of our plans was to have ADA accessible structure, and that was one of the things we were going to have to cut out, but now that that's back on the table. So all those things that people have had limitations on with those structures or dreams for those structures in that space, now's your chance.
Good.
And I think the rec department's here if you have any questions or concerns or anything else, but I think for as of now, it's closed down until we can secure the base.
So you're talking leveling the one that's there?
We're talking whatever your pleasure.
Okay, well, no. I'm asking, it sounds like the mayor shook his head that it's not usable, it's dangerous.
It needs to be either extensively rebuilt or replaced.
Okay. And so we're talking now, the committee will look at some ideas of replacement.
And we'll go over, like, instead of doing it all here, we'll go over the engineering reports and the structural assessments and all that with you guys so you have a better idea. And once you guys pick where it's going, we'll just forward all that information to you as we compile it. So you guys are all on the same page, y'all are on the same page as we are.
I just would hope out to the public that we can replace it as much as like it is, because I think there's even Huntoon watercolors of it, and it's been like a centerpiece for Rutland for a long time, so I really hope we can, you know, it's so Rutland, and I hope we can replace it, so.
110 years-ish.
Yeah.
No one could really tell.
Not many people here remember it being built, but thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you for all your hard work.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Very good, thanks.
All right, we are still outside the rail. Do we have any other members of the public who wish to address the board on matters not on the agenda? Can I see them?
I wasn't exactly planning for this, but since Bob Peterson is here, I would like to acknowledge that he will be retiring in the next 2 weeks. 26 years of service to the rec. The history I can't even go into, what he's taught me, what he's helped me with. the staff he's brought into the rec, the love he has for the rec. So I just wanted to do that. In case he decides not to come back in 2 weeks, I just really thought that this was a great opportunity since he's here, and to thank him personally and to the community.
And I just want to expound on that real briefly. I haven't been here for the whole 26 years, but pretty close to it. And Bob's been a great partner and a great leader over there for the maintenance department. And you can see the work that's been done when you go around and look at the parks. There's proof in the pudding. And he's going to be hard to replace, but maybe not that. But anyway, we appreciate all your work, Bob. I'm glad we've had a chance to acknowledge that in front of the city. And so thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Kim, and thank you, Bob. You've been an incredible asset to the city. And we will expect you back in 2 weeks to give some parting words, okay?
Okay, I'll bear that in mind.
Very good. Alderman DuPois.
Yeah, I just want to really thank Bob for everything. I mean, I would come to Bob with a bunch of different stuff, like upgrades over at George Eddy baseball field where the kids, from the high school play, and he put all kinds of, got all the fencing and the netting up on the backstop. They put a new pole in to prevent balls from going into the river, and I think it's really helped out and cut down on the cost of baseballs, which are not cheap these days. And there's a lot of stuff around the city, and that's just the first thing that comes to mind. That was a major undertaking. And I have Bob on speed dial on my phone. And Tyler, I'm gonna need your cell phone number because I'm gonna start calling you. And over 4th of July or whatever, you have to answer though. Okay? All right. I just want to make sure. Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Bob. But thank you very much for everything.
Good, thank you. So we are still outside the rail. Yes, ma'am.
Hi. I just have a few comments and then one little sort of complaint. I'm here as a pedestrian and a bicycle rider, and at some of the crossings, at some of the traffic lights, you get 20 seconds to cross, and I am still able to cross in 20 seconds, but there are a lot of people out there who cannot do that in 20 seconds. So it would be kind of nice if like 10 seconds were added, seeing how the stoplights are so long. The other thing, and I apologize, I should have made some notes at home, but I was thinking about all of this on my way over. There are a couple of places, most places on North Main Street have a PEDXing, a PEDXing button that you can punch. But there are a couple of places where if you're on a bike or if you're on foot, it's pretty scary to cross, and it's at the old Dunkin' Donuts. The Dunkin' Donuts on South Main Street. There's nothing there that you can push, so you see the signal, that it's safe to walk. The other place is like right across the street from Dunkin' Donuts as you're heading south on South Main by the old Creed's Ice Place. Do you know where that is? There's no signal there that you can punch. So those are the two places that pop out of my mind. And I guess my complaint is, and I don't know if it's justified or not, but I see all of this new curbing going up over the city, all around the city, and I'm thinking, all of that money for new curbing, why not think about this? And it was in the paper probably 15 to 20 years ago. Walkway over Main Street, because you really are sometimes taking your life in your hands. So anyways, thank you for listening.
Thank you. Yes. If you don't mind, just state your name and residence for the record, please.
Michael J. Romano,
And Andrew McDevitt.
213 Church Street, Rutland. And I submitted a hurriedly written appeal to losing some pull-off parking space in front of my house due to new paving. And I simply wanted to bring some observational pictures to supplement that.
Certainly.
So that's mainly what we came for tonight. That you could include that with my very roughly drafted letter that, in pencil. I apologize for that. I was kind of in a hurry.
Not a problem, Michael, and I just opened this prior to the meeting.
Okay.
I will make copies and distribute it to the entire board.
So this is just a little supplemental observations regarding the parking area in question.
While we have you here, would you like to describe to the board?
Well, we have, it's a 40-foot by 6-foot pull-off in front of our house that has always been integral with the main driveway. And the Public Works Department has stated that they're going to remove it due to poor subgrade, which nobody has excavated anything. And they're going to replace it. This has been in place for 50 years, never been a detriment to the road, ever. And they're going to replace it with topsoil and grass, such that we're going to be losing this little private pull-off, get you off the street, and it also services our front entry walk to the house. So we're very disappointed that we have not even been offered consideration for regrading, resubgrading, repaving at our own expense.
It's quite handy too, because we live at the top of a hill, and the UPS driver, and if the postal worker has to drop a package off to either us or any of our neighbors across the street or on the sides of us, they use that, and they've often remarked, like, this is handy, because being at the top of the road and parking on the road, people have to go around, and all of a sudden, boom, you got a car coming up the hill. So it's been really handy for deliveries as well, or if we have company.
There's three pictures of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they're both the same packets.
Okay.
But anyway,
Yeah, so it's a convenient point for deliveries, postal, UPS, our visiting friends, relatives. Like I say, it's been in place for 50 years. It's never been a concern or any detriment to the pavement.
Alderman Clifford?
So you're basically appealing the decision to
dig it out.
Remove it.
dig it up?
Remove it.
So, okay, so I'm wondering if that should go to the Board of Highway Commissioners, or?
Well, if I may, is the letter addressed to the Board of Aldermen, and has it been?
And I was instructed to present it to the Aldermen.
Okay. So the commissioner, acting commissioner of Public Works has not been involved in any conversation?
I've had a conversation with the Public Works office a couple of times.
Okay. Do you recall in particular maybe who you spoke with? Was it one of the office girls or someone, an engineer? Or?
I have
It's all right, if
I
you
have it
don't.
written down at home.
That's okay, that's all right.
And I just don't recall. Don't believe it was the commissioner. Might have been. Yeah, I didn't see.
Okay.
So that's our position. We would
Is that something you
very
think we
much
should
like to
do?
keep the pull-off, and we're more than willing to pay for any excavation, subgrade, upgrade, and repaving.
And we actually spoke to Wilt, who did the paving of the road, and he was like, sure, I can do that. So I'm sure he would subgrade it properly and pave it so it's not gonna have any integrity issues.
Off the city contract, of course,
Yeah.
at our expense.
Right.
So I've had a couple conversations with, I believe it's Steve. So that's our position.
Thank you. I have Alderwoman Davis, Alderman DePoy, then Alderman Clifford.
So I just, my question was, are they paid? I wasn't sure what they were doing for this issue to call all of a sudden.
The road has been repaved.
They're still cutting in driveway edges and, you know, getting it level with their drive.
So is it affecting a sidewalk type of
No.
thing?
No, there are no
There's no
sidewalks.
sidewalks.
Would it be affecting curbing?
No
There's
curbs.
no curbing.
Okay, thanks.
And the pictures, I think, help explain.
Yeah, it does, a little bit, yeah.
Alderman DePoy, did you still have a question?
So, I used to live in that area, I do know what you're talking about. You're just up the hill from Vernon,
Yes.
on the west side of the road there, and there is no sidewalk, and what I was gonna ask is if it's probably in the city right away, because the right of way goes into your lawn a little bit there. I don't know how many feet, but several feet. So, the city's position is probably that it's,
Matt.
you know, on the city right away. You know, there could be a thought of a sidewalk going up through there, because I don't think there's a sidewalk on either side, at least on the lower part of that. I think there is up above, but,
None for, none for a couple of blocks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quite a few, actually.
So I guess I would just encourage you to work with, I mean, the commissioner's here, work with either him or somebody that he designates to take care of it with you. Have conversations, and maybe either he or you guys can get back to us as to, you know, what you figure out, just because of the legal semantics and everything of city right away, that sort of thing. I understand what you're saying, to have a little pull-off, but, you know, why can't your next door neighbor have the pull-off, and then down the street, and then and just keep going up and down the street, and then you have, you know, a 40-foot road instead of a 25-foot road. So that's all I'm getting at. I mean, if you guys can do it, so can everybody else,
It's been
so.
there for 50 years, and they haven't done it yet, but they use it and appreciate being able to. That's
Yeah,
nice.
I love those pull-offs, those are great.
They are.
Pizza drivers and everything too, so.
Years it's
Yeah.
been there, so that's part of our.
Maybe you get Mr. Rotondo's phone number and give him a call tomorrow and set something up where you guys can meet.
Alderman Clifford.
Just refer it to the commissioner, see if he can resolve the issue.
Second.
We have a motion to refer, and it has been seconded to the Public Works Commissioner. Would all the,
I'd like to put an amendment on that. He reports back to us on his findings and his decision.
Very good. All right, so we have a motion, it's been seconded to refer this matter to the Public Works Commissioner to report back to us at our following Alderman meeting.
Okay.
Is there any other questions? Alderman Grusso.
Well, I had my hand up earlier, and it's, I guess, still goes with the motion. I guess it could all be resolved really quickly. I mean, the commissioner's familiar with it? Jim, are you familiar with this? Have you seen it?
It's the first time I saw it.
Right, and I haven't seen it other than the pictures. I mean, if it seems like if the city hasn't got to go dig it up, put in topsoil, rake it, put labor in it, and these people are willing to do whatever they want to do to it, it's still city property. If the other neighbors have to go dig it out and put in all their money in it, they're crazy, but it's existing. It's not, if we walk away from it right now, we have no more money in this. If we have to go back and dig it up and seed it and put money in it, it's going to cost us more. So that's my opinion, and I'm not the commissioner, there's the man, but,
That's a good angle. We would save you money.
you know, so, well, that's my way of looking at it, but there's the man, and it's his decision, and I'll support him, but I'd like to see it move along and get it done with, so we get other things to do, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all for your time.
All right, so we still have a motion that has been seconded to refer this to Commissioner
Yeah, you can
Rotondo.
keep them, yeah.
Is there any other discussion to make, questions on this? All right, hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you.
And Commissioner Rotondo, I will get you the letter and the pictures following the meeting.
Have fun. Thank you.
All right, we are still under outside the rail. Are there any other members of the public who wish to address the board?
Got a second right there.
Yes.
I just wanted to,
Let me get out of your way, dear, I'm sorry.
that's okay. I just thought of another bad spot for both cars, pedestrians, and bicyclists, and it's Center and Court Street. Court Street, north and south have a stop sign, but Center, east and west, they're free to go. And a lot of people get to that place and they don't know what to do. Sometimes the cars on Center Street will stop, and other times they go right through it. I think it should be a four-way stop. I don't know if other people have seen some near misses there, but I've seen them. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know if she saw it on the news, but I saw on Channel 3 that we're going to talk about this tonight. I learned it from there tonight, so we will.
Thank you, Alderman Grusso. I do think that there is a pretty good chance we'll be talking further about pedestrian safety in the city and what measures we can take. But thank you very much for coming.
Yeah. I
Alderman
just
Muir.
want to speak to that really quick, and I thank you for coming and bringing that up, because that is an issue that we're talking about broadly, and Route 7 is obviously a big concern, and it's a massive highway that cuts our city in half, and so as a result, you know, the two eastern neighborhoods have a hard time accessing downtown. So I just want you to know that that is certainly not being ignored. And I know the Traffic Safety Committee is planning on discussing it and other issues coming up, so thank you for bringing that up. Appreciate that.
But if I may,
Yes.
if I may just make a point, that not all of it is in control of the city, that a lot of it is in control of the state. So the city can make a recommendation, but the state has to make the decision. So some things we might be able to have something to say about, but I just think that, so we're aware that some control just does not lie with us.
Thank you, Alderman Davis. Very good. There's no one else to address the board on matters not on the agenda. Mayor Lair, communications from the mayor.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you very much. Beth, I heard you on the radio this morning. You were very eloquent in your concerns, and I'm glad you came up tonight and spoke about it, because I think everybody in this room shares those concerns. I'm going to talk a little bit about it here tonight, too. So, good evening, everyone. Great to be with you back in our wonderful chambers, face-to-face, and getting back to somewhat normalcy. So I got a couple of issues, and I'll try to get through it as quickly as I can. You have a number of things on your agenda. Later on in your agenda, you will find a request from Treasurer Markowski for signatures for a resolution for acceptance of ARPA funds from the feds. I obviously am in total support of that. We want to, beat the deadline, which I believe is the 15th of July, and I know the board will be supportive of that too. What I wanted to mention was I'd like to propose to the board that the mayor's office, in conjunction with the board, schedule a public forum and hear from the folks out there. And I'm sure they have a lot of ideas and suggestions about how we should spend that money. At first blush, 4.4 million sounds like quite a haul, but when you start breaking it down into 2.2, 2.2, and then whatever else has come off the top, and depending on what we decide on for projects, it probably will not go that far. So we want to be strategic and thoughtful in how we go about and hear from as many people as we can. So I'd like to get that meeting scheduled later on in July or early August, and maybe at a neutral site, either up at Godnick or down at the community center, someplace where we can, it's easily accessible for people. And I think that will go a long way to helping us make our decisions. The department heads have had one meeting devoted solely to that subject. I plan on having one more before we hear from the public. So that will be coming soon, so look for that. I'd be happy to moderate it and put it all together. Second, and this goes to pedestrian safety, in light of the most recent fatality on Route 7 South. This time it happened to be in the town, but it could have very easily been in the city. I did reach out to Mary Ashcroft today, spoke to Devin earlier on the phone. Mary Ashcroft is the chair of the Rutland Town Select Board, to express the city's interest, at least my office's interest, and I think the board's also, in collaborating with the town and talking and putting some pressure on the state, which is, you are correct, that is a state highway, and about what can be done as far as pedestrian and bicycle safety and just the traveling public, because you know, this is every tragedy like we've had, there's a family that's left behind that's grieving, no matter what the circumstances were. I think it's unacceptable. We've been put off for an awful long time about trying to make improvements down there, whether it's at you know, at the pedestrian crosswalks, whether it's lowering the speed limit, whether it's improving the lighting. I think there's a whole host of things that are going to at least be talked about, and I think this is the point where we need to do that. So I appreciate Devin's thoughts on that. I know the board would be supportive of that. So, and however you'd like to go about doing that. Rutland Town is having a meeting tonight, their select board meeting, and she's bringing up the same subject. So with their acceptance, I think the city and the town should get together and work on that. So in whatever venue you'd like to do. And finally, I just wanted to mention very briefly, I do plan on having a name for you all for DPW Commissioner at your next meeting in 13 days. I have, it's been at top of my priority list for some time now. I have reached out to Whitney Marsh, left a message before the holiday. I've yet to hear from her, so I'm not sure of the details on what went down there. But regardless, we're moving ahead. We do have a plan, and you will be hearing more about it in the very near future. So I appreciate all of your support. Great to be back with you, and unless you have any questions, I will sit down.
Thank you, Mayor Lehrer. Alderwoman Davis?
Stand up. So, first of all, I just want to remind you that the issue is in Finance Committee to once a determination of how to spend the money,
Yep.
that's in committee,
Yep.
so we could have
Yep.
that discussion.
I am aware of that, absolutely.
And secondly, I think with the Route 4, with the issues with Route 7 South, at this time, it's Route 7 South that had the fatality. We know that there's been some pretty horrific accidents up by the old pool site, et cetera. So I think, I guess I'm looking for guidance. We have two committees that we can send it to. We have an intermunicipal committee that sits with the town, or we have a Route 4 and 7 committee that was established, the city and the town.
Yep.
But I'm not sure truly who the members are at this time in the Rutland town area for Route 4 and 7. So maybe intermunicipal might be a better.
Yeah, I did, in my conversation with Mary today, say that I would reach back out in the next day or so after we both had these meetings to see where they were coming from and how they'd like to move forward, and then go from there. So however you guys want to do it, get it into committee, and then, you know, I will initiate the conversation and then let the chair know.
So I'll move to refer the issue to the intermunicipal committee.
Second.
We have motion to refer, and it has been seconded, this issue to the intermunicipal committee. Any discussion or debate? Alderman Caruso.
Yeah, I was just going to add to this that, for instance, one of the city accidents happened in front of my office, and I walked that with Chief Kilcullen, and I want us to get away from the fact that all of what's happening is driver error, and the fact that, especially up by my office, there used to be a grant that Lieutenant Gino used to use, and he sat up there so much that you could go out on social media and see, watch out in Rutland, there's always a cop there. And since he retired, he's not there. Why? It's not our fault. We're short on police. We're very short-handed. All the departments are. And that's a shame. That's a real shame. But I drive. By the way, you can go look at my odometer. I bought the truck in October. I have 20,000 miles on it. Okay, I drive a lot. and I'm on the road, I see texting, I see crazy, crazy stuff weaving in and out of, I mean, I was doing 40 today on Main Street, and a guy passed me like I was standing still in front by the fire station. It's driving, it's careless driving, and that's the thing. So let's not, because our traffic lights are 26 years old. I know it for a fact because Mayor Wenberg and I worked on that grant, and he did more than I did on it, but they're pretty computerized and they're pretty darn good. Our striping, it leaves a little bit to be desired, but we do have a lot of driving problems, and if the police were able to have the time to be out there and write some tickets and all that, I think that would get them afraid and pay more attention out there. And it's a pretty sad set of affairs that we have some of the driving going on in the city, but they just can't, God bless them, they just can't be out there. And that's something I'd like to see factored in there. It's an awful thing. They say lighting, they say what they want, but it's just, there's some wild drivers out there right now, and it's just too bad we can't catch them. So thank you, and I support the motion.
Thank you, Alderman Garuso. Alderman Neri.
Yeah, I just wanted to dovetail with that because I agree. Traffic enforcement is a huge component of traffic safety, and this is part of my life outside of Alderman. And part of our problem here in Rutland is we've got an antiquated highway system that is dangerous by design. And I've spoken with the mayor and both the DPW commissioner and the mayor on it. We do have an opportunity in 2024 when we get our Class 1 paving done to look at that holistically and say, is there another option that's safer, that's not a massive highway cutting our city into quarters? So I think we really need to keep on this and look at all avenues and maybe request a VTrans engineering study in the future to see what is the picture of those highways, how fast are people going, what are the dynamics of the roadway, and then assess and assign some sort of safety countermeasures, because I think there's not one silver bullet here, unfortunately, and that's the reason it's been plaguing us for so long is we're, square peg in a round hole with that highway. If you have 5 lanes going through your city, you're gonna have problems. So I hope we'll have an opportunity when that money comes to do something more, but until then, I think we should try to plan to address what we can control,
Thank you, Alderman Neri. Alderman Gillum.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Alderman Davis, for putting that into the, what is it? The Intermunicipal, thank you, Intermunicipal Committee, because we have done that in the past. I was chair in the past on that committee, and we've done some wonderful stuff together with Rutland Town. I think we need to bring that back. I think we need to work with the town. I agree with the mayor. And I think if we have some pull with the state, if 2 towns are side by side working on an issue. So I think it's very important we continue that path.
Yeah. Thank you, Alderman Gillum. So we have the motion, and it's been seconded to refer this issue of pedestrian safety in Route 74 to Intermunicipal Committee. There's no further discussion or debate. Would all those in favor please indicate by saying aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I know it's been a little bit of time since this committee has met, so the committee is comprised of Alderman Clifford as chair, Alderman Gillum, and Alderwoman Davis.
Old school.
So we're still under communications from the mayor. Is there anything else for Mayor Allaire before we let him sit back down? All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor Allaire. All right, we are on to additions and deletions to the agenda. Do we have Mr. Gloomer?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've got one addition, but I have one deletion. The addition is executive session regarding a negotiation of a labor relations agreement, and the deletion is one of the pending litigation executive sessions.
So moved.
Second.
Right. A motion has been seconded to have one executive session added and one removed. Would all those in favor please indicate by saying aye?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Yep. All right, so this brings us on to reports and letters from department heads and officials. Up first, Commissioner Rotondo, request to sign timber contract, pages 1 through 6 of your packet.
Good evening, everyone. So we received 4 bids to harvest the red pine in the Rutland City Forest. And we had, the bids ranged from $73.85 to $22,136. So what I'm requesting tonight is authorization for the mayor to sign a timber sale contract for red pine located in compartment 2, 3, and 8 off Wheelerville Road in the Rutland City Forest in Mendon. And we're recommending sale to the highest bidder, who is Norm Brown Logging, for $22,136.
So moved.
Second.
I'll move to suspend the rules.
It's on the agenda.
Wasn't in committee.
Second.
Right, we have a motion to suspend the rules, and it has been seconded. Would all those in favor please indicate by saying aye?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Move for the approval.
Second.
Right, we have a motion to approve, and it has been seconded. Is there any discussion or debate on this issue? Alderman DePoy.
How many trees is it? I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing the board feet, but like, how many trees approximately is it that are?
Yeah, I don't know how that translates into number of trees, but it's 210,000 board feet.
Yeah.
A lot
So
of
it's really
trees.
based upon a volume. And it's my understanding from the city forester that this is really the last stand of red pine in the city that has value.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alderwoman Savage.
Will it be all the red pine in that area? Are you select cutting and leaving some?
This would be all the red pine that's standing in that one stand, right? There may be a few, pieces here or there, but this is the one stand that we've identified to be
Do you know
cleared.
when those were planted? Those were planted.
When would this be done?
When were they planted?
I don't know the age of the trees, no.
Alderman DePoy.
So, Alderman Savage, you might not realize, there's it's called a scale pine. I don't know if you know that, but it's
Yeah.
killing the trees, so. And we had to take a bunch of, the ash trees down because of the emerald ash borer too, and while there's still value, they're trying to get them down before they're just so destroyed by the parasite that they're worthless, so. I didn't know if you knew about that, that's all.
So really, in the memo, I mentioned a couple things, and it's really, it's true. It's really because of the disease, these trees are declining, and we have to protect our water, we have to protect the watershed, and, if we allow them to die, then it's gonna be a big fire hazard. And right now, they're really at their maximum value for the city to collect. But as they continue to decline, the value is gonna go down, and now is really the time to go ahead and harvest them. Yep.
Good. Alderman Dungers.
Jim, was this price compared to what red pine sells for elsewhere when it's logged? Is this a fair price, do you think?
Well, I had the city forester look at the whole, all the bids, review everything, and he thought this was a good price.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep.
Any further questions for Commissioner Rotondo? Hearing and seeing none, we have a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the timber sale contract for red pine located in compartment 2, 3, and 8 off Wheelerville Road in Rutland City Forest and Mendon, and to recommend to Norm Brown Logging the contract amount of $22,136. We have a motion. It has been seconded. Would all those in favor please indicate by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Commissioner Rotondo, we have you up again. Municipal Roads Grants and Aid Program, pages 7 and 8 of your packet.
So I'm requesting the board tonight to ratify the letter of intent to participate in the Municipal Roads Grant and Aid Program that was signed by Acting Mayor, Board of Aldermen President Matt Whitcomb on June 25th, 2021, which was the submittal deadline. The letter of intent is in your packet. And I apologize that we're coming after the fact for ratification, but if we didn't submit the grant application, we were going to lose out on it. And the potential grant for the city is $18,400, and that's the minimum amount. It depends on how many municipalities participate in this program, and the fewer municipalities that participate would allow the grant amount to go up. So it's really it's a win-win for the city. Our total share is $4,600, and we intend to do that with in-kind services. So it really wouldn't be any out-of-pocket money. We'll use our equipment and our people to do the work.
Alderman Clifford.
Move to suspend the rules, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Right, we have a motion to suspend the rules that has been seconded. Would all those in favor indicate by saying aye?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
I would move to ratify the letter of intent.
Second.
We have a motion that has been seconded. Alderman Neary.
Yeah, I'm just going to recuse myself from this vote since the planning commission will be working with the city on this particular grant.
Thank you, Alderman Neary. Any other questions, comments? If not, we have a motion that has been seconded to ratify the letter of intent to participate. Would all those in favor please indicate by saying aye?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much, Commissioner Rotondo.
Thank you very much.
Okay, up next, we have Treasurer Markowski. Resolution for acceptance of the ARPA funds, pages 9 through 15 of your packet.
Hi, everyone. So this is, as the mayor pointed out, this is the official step for the board, looking for the board to circulate the resolution to officially accept the funds that were allocated through the ARPA funding for the city of Rutland. So if we do this tonight, then we can access the state portal and really begin the process and certify that, yeah, we accept the funds, we're gonna follow the rules as written, and then the process really begins.
Looks like it's very long.
I would look for the board to circulate the resolution.
So
Second.
I'll move to suspend the rules.
Second.
A motion to suspend the rules that has been seconded. Would all those in favor please indicate by saying aye?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
And I'll move to circulate for signature the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion that has been seconded to circulate for signature this resolution. Is there any questions, comments? Alderman Caruso.
Just two questions. Mary, what's this for? What's the resolution going to do? I mean, we already got the money coming. I just didn't know. Is it to look good?
We needed to officially accept the award, so we
Okay.
need to follow it's much like other grants that we have where we
Right.
officially sign off, so we need to do that part so we can access the funds and
And-
access the state portal.
Just kind of half a question. Did Representative Welch get us the money? Because I remember we were doing a Zoom meeting when he came on and announced it.
He reported the award to the state of Vermont and the amount that was coming to the city.
Okay, I was just curious because I didn't know if, he's not mentioned in it, and I just didn't know if he should have been, that's all, but it's no big deal. I just thought I'd ask. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, debate? If not, we have a motion that has been seconded to circulate for signature the resolution to accept the ARPA funds. Would all those in favor please indicate by saying aye?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much, Treasurer
Thank you.
Markowski. All right, so that is coming around right now for you all to sign. We have Attorney Bloomer up next, which we will move to the end of the meeting if they are all executive sessions. So that brings us to reports of standing committees, of which we have none. Reports of select committees, of which we have none. Reports of representatives, there is nothing. Petitions, letters, miscellaneous communication. We have Green Mountain Power, pull and wire requests. The first one is pages 16 through 18 of your packet.
I'll move to suspend the rules.
Second.
We have a motion to suspend the rules, and it has been seconded. Would all those in favor indicate by saying aye?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
And I'll move for the approval of the request with the 7 standard conditions.
Second.
So we have a motion, it has been seconded. Is there any discussion, questions, debate on this issue?
I just hope somebody else can read these things.
A fair comment, Alderman Caruso. Hearing no questions, comments, or debate, would all those in favor please indicate by saying aye?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. And we have an additional Green Mountain Power pole and wire request, pages 19 through 21 of your packet.
And I'll move to suspend the rules.
Second.
We have a motion to suspend, and it has been seconded. Would all those in favor please indicate by saying aye?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
And I'll move for the approval with the 7 standard conditions.
Second.
We have a motion, and it has been seconded to approve. Any comments, discussion, questions? Hearing and seeing none. Would all those in favor please indicate by saying aye?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
I'll move to go into the Border Control Commission.
Second.
Right, we have a motion that has been seconded to enter into the Board of Control Commissioners.
Probably have
Would
several
all those
in
in
there.
favor indicate by saying aye?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. We are now under the Board of Control Commissioners.
Move for the,
Global Montello Group Corporation request for 2 second-class liquor licenses, pages 22 through 32. Alderman Davis.
And I'll move to circulate the request for signature.
second.
Right, we have a motion to circulate the request for signature. It has been seconded. Any questions, comments, debate?
The only comment would be it's a pretty big news that Max has sold 2 of their stores to this global company.
That's for both, Mr. President.
Right.
We're going to take up both circulations.
That's true.
Yeah.
Any additional comments, questions, or debate? Hearing and seeing none, would all those in favor please indicate by saying aye?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries.
And I'll move to go out of the Board of Control Commissioners.
Second.
Right, we have a motion to go out of the Board of Control Commissioners. It has been seconded. Would all those in favor please indicate by saying aye?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. All right, we are on to unfinished business. Do we have any unfinished business to come before the board?
Everything's finished.
Everything's finished. I am hearing and seeing nothing, which brings us to miscellaneous motions, resolutions, and new business.
Let's get into executive session.
I'm seeing nothing new. I will just mention to the board quickly that I will be scanning and emailing you a thank you letter we received regarding the city scholarship that we give out. We got a very nice note, and I want y'all to be able to see that. That's all I had. So, Attorney Bloomer, I believe the show is yours.
All right, I think we should start with the police-related matter, since the chief is here. We can let him go after that. The motion to find that premature general public knowledge regarding the negotiation of a labor relations agreement would clearly place the city at a substantial disadvantage because the discussion will divulge the board's position on the agreement provisions to be negotiated. So moved.
Second. I had somebody say second.
All right, we have a motion and it has been seconded. Would all those in favor please indicate by saying aye?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Attorney Bloomer?
And a motion to enter into executive session with the inclusion of the mayor, police chief, treasurer, clerk, and city attorney to discuss the labor relations agreement as allowed under Title I, Section 313A1B.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion that has been seconded. Would all those in favor please indicate by saying aye?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, so we'll stand out for just a moment, clear the room if you are not on the list.